It's welcome, everybody.
Okay, got it. All right, Debbie, you want to put up the slideshow? Okay, so good afternoon, I guess now, everyone. Welcome to our semester Sustainability and Curriculum Development Workshop, April 8th, 2022. I think something on the invite said 2002, but it hasn't been that long.
I thought I had gone through a time machine.
No. Anyway, sorry about that. With me today, my compatriots, Peggy Cabrera from the University Library. Peggy's waving. Debbie Andres, the Office of Sustainability. She is it. Gina Marin from the Center for Faculty Development. Gina. And myself, Bill DeVincenzi, Faculty and Residence for Sustainability. I guess you're going to have to move the slides, Debbie. So as we start, we'd like to pause briefly to acknowledge the land that San Jose State University sits on, the land of the Ohlone and the Muwekma Ohlone people who trace their ancestry through San Jose. We remember their connection to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, learn, and play on their traditional homeland. So let's take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Ohlone people, past and present. Okay, next slide. So just some homework or housekeeping. Make sure that you don't have any unneeded applications open, considering bandwidth, especially those who are going to speak. Make sure you're on mute unless we ask you to speak. Use the chat. We'll be looking at that. If you have questions, we'll have time for Q&A at the end, but definitely use the chat and we'll try to answer your questions as soon as we can. And we will have this recording available after the workshop. Debbie, can you hear that click? When I do, okay, if you can hear the click, then change the slide. That way I don't have to say it. Okay, so basically the agenda, we're going to talk about initially what is sustainability, why do you need to incorporate it into your course. I'll be doing that part, but Debbie will be talking about sustainability literacy, how it's measured, how we rank our green facilities and our program highlights. We'll have 3 testimonials in this next section on faculty who have already incorporated it into their programs and what they did. So kind of hopefully help the rest of you in terms of what you might be doing. We'll then have Debbie talk about the office, our resources. So Debbie talk about Office of Sustainability. Peggy will talk about library. Gina will talk about Center for Faculty Development. We'll have a couple of more testimonials to close out that part of it. And then Peggy will lead us in that's United Nations, it's not it's United Nations Sustainable Development Goal exercise, which should be kind of fun. And then we'll wrap up and talk to you about how you can apply for a stipend. So the whole intent of this workshop is basically to increase the number of courses and departments that include sustainability. As you'll find out from Debbie in a bit, we rank fairly well relative to other universities, but obviously we would like to continue to improve on that and get more and more departments involved. I personally believe that we would be doing a disservice to our students by not including sustainability in our courses. Sustainable living and practices is essential to their future. I think that this generation is probably more impacted than any others by climate change and by resource scarcity. So, and it's only going to get worse. So I think we really need to communicate to the students how our courses will help them mitigate the worst of these problems and help them to a more sustainable future. So I really feel very passionately that this is something that we as instructors really need to focus on. We'd also like to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusivity in all of our programs and all of our courses. You can't have sustainability without DEI. And we will talk about the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals and how they relate to what we're doing. And at the end, again, we'll talk about how you can get your stipend. So what is sustainability? I mean, you get asked that question, and probably I get asked and I answer it differently every time. There's a lot of different ways to express it. I like the Brundtland report, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I think that's one good way of expressing it. From my accounting and finance and business background, think about circular economy model, designing sustainability into your products right from the get-go, so that a product, when it reaches the end of its life cycle, can either be reused, it can be repurposed, or it can be recycled, so that there's zero waste on the other end. That's how I would talk about a sustainable economy. Remember that we live in a interrelated system, and that the human system and the natural system work in a symbiotic relationship. The human system, the population has grown, we've become way more industrialized, and as a result, we've increased the burning of fossil fuels. That has resulted in increased emissions of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases into the natural system. And of course, the natural system is now reacting to that increase in greenhouse gas concentrations, because it's trapping more and more heat into the atmosphere. And so we're experiencing all of the ravages of climate change. So, and so you see how this is kind of a feedback loop, and it's not a very nice feedback loop at this point. Another way to look at it is the 3 pillars, or the 3 Ps, or the 3 Es, however you want to, part of the alphabet you want to use. But sustainability is really dependent on 3 elements. It's dependent on the social aspects of society, people. It's dependent on the health of the environment, the planet. And it's also dependent on whether or not what we do makes economic sense, because if it doesn't make economic sense, it's not going to happen. So you need a balance of people, planet, profit, or people don't like the word profit, so we say equity, environment, or economy. But however you want to word it, I think that these 3 elements are essential in working together to come out with a sustainable place to live in. Yeah, prosperity is another word for, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we use that one too. Okay, I'll turn this over to Debbie.
Great. So these metrics were taken from our last STARS report. I'm sure I'm hoping you heard that we received a STARS gold rating in 2020, and we're up for renewal next year. But these are our metrics from that year, is that 60% of our graduates graduate from a program that has a sustainability learning outcome. So an example is like the College of Engineering requires all the students to take 100W, and 100W actually commits to focusing on green issues while teaching students how to write engineering reports. For example, I actually spoke at a Green Talk lecture 2 days ago for 100W. So we did a whole audit on all the colleges and looked at everyone's sustainability learning outcomes. And for the most part, we're doing well, but we want everybody to have one at least.
Debbie, can I jump in just a second, because
Please,
someone asked a question about what STARS is.
Yes,
so
go for it.
We report through the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. And this is a worldwide organization, and they have a tracking system. It's called the Sustainability Tracking and Reporting System, or STARS. And so that's when we say that word, that's what we're referring to as our ranking within all of the universities around the world.
Yes. Sorry, while I'm doing this, Peggy, if you could monitor the waiting room, people are still coming in while we speak. So I made you a co-host, sorry. Academic curriculum. We, at least for the last STARS report, we did a complete course catalog audit, Peggy and I did, on seeing how many of our courses offer sustainability focus or sustainability related theme. And we found it was huge. It was 32% of our courses do. And we use the UN Sustainable Development Goals as the criteria for defining sustainability. It's the STARS report, actually 30% is the best that we could possibly do. So we got the most amount of points, and we beat out a lot of other universities. 92% of our departments offer at least one or more, and it's often more courses. And then in our course catalogs, if you've noticed, there actually is this little green leaf now that you'll see for courses that have been identified as sustainability focused with the UN Sustainable Development Goal that it corresponds to. We're currently updating the audit right now. So if you had submitted a course within the last 3 years that you feel probably needs a little green leaf, you'll probably see it next year. Current research, 13% of our faculty currently conduct research on sustainability, and that amounts to 47% of our departments have at least one faculty or staff member engaged. We have this is just a snippet of the sustainability focused research centers that we have on campus: the Mineta Transportation Institute, the Center for Development and Recycling that's housed in environmental science, and Moss Landing. If you haven't been there, it's open to all of us. It's amazing. You should definitely go. And then again, 2020 was our last certification. It's still active. We have gold, which is the second highest rating. There's 4 rankings that's possible. Platinum. There's only 6 universities in the world that have achieved platinum, and we definitely don't have Stanford money, but we do have gold. We were the first CSU to actually get gold, and we're only one of 6 currently. And we are in the top 6% in the world as far as STARS points. And the STARS ranking system, it's actually a huge audit that we do amongst all of the facets of the campus. So not just the academic side, but what we do for engagement. What are we doing in operations, like our buildings and our facilities? What does our planning and administration do? And innovation points. So like really interesting things that only we're doing. This report is actually, it's public. You're able to read it and see what we have been doing. I love to have people read it, because a lot of the times, a lot of the things that we gather is like word of mouth, like, oh, we know someone that's doing something. So there's been tons of times where someone emailed me and said, hey, this is what I'm doing in my college. So I encourage anybody to read this, because I always get really cool feedback at the end of it. Other rankings that we've achieved, we are on the Sierra Club Cool Schools list. We're ranked at number 50 and 12th in California. We're on the 2021 Sustainable Campus Index, and we're in the Princeton Review Guide to Green Colleges. Oh, there should be there it goes. Green facilities. So we have several goals that we already try to fulfill. One of them is we have to get to our 1990 levels of GHG emissions by 2020, and we've reduced it to 12% below 2020. Our next goal is going to be 80% of our 1990 levels by 2040, and then carbon neutral by 2045. However, I'd like to I'd like to invite you. There's the campus master plan that is actually going through an update as we speak. There's a sustainability workshop that's open to everyone on campus. It's going to be on April 26th, and they're gonna, me and the planners, the people that are in charge of doing the plan, we're going to try really hard to make that goal a little bit more aggressive. We really want to do like a 2035 carbon neutral. So if we can get the more voices, the more support we have for this goal, that'd be great. It's open to anybody. I can definitely send you the links to that after this workshop. We have installed solar panels. If you've not been to South Campus recently, the park and ride lot has a really big solar panel installation that actually makes South Campus net zero. So it's an awesome achievement. We have solar panels going up right now on main campus. It's basically we're gonna take up all the structurally available buildings that can hold this load, and we're putting up solar panels on them right now. 134 EV charging stations are operational at South Campus, and we're going to put 40 more at the 10th Street, or not the 10th Street, I think it's the 7th Street garage. I'll fix that. All of our new buildings and major renovations since the MLK library have been LEED Gold, including the Aquatic Center. ISB, the new science building, is planning to be, or we're anticipating that will be LEED Gold as well. And then recycled water conversions. We actually use now more recycled water than we do potable. So really the only thing that we use potable water for now is showers and sinks and drinking water. So we do best. I think we do the best out of all the CSUs. And then we have the CSU plastics ban. We're actually on schedule to have no single-use plastics by 2023, including water bottles. So we're working on a number of solutions. If you haven't noticed, there are water bottle filling stations in every building, if not multiple. And then this is just an update from our last two workshops. These are our winners from them. We've asked them all to, not all of them, but yeah, we just wanted to show that a lot of people are doing this, and we had a lot more submissions than we did. We were able to give a stipend for. So, but we completely still encourage you to apply, and and you can see you can probably get one the next semester. And I'd like to introduce Jennifer Hartle as our first testimonial.
Hi, thank you, Debbie.
Sure.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jennifer Hartle. I'm an assistant professor in the Public Health and Recreation Department, and the curriculum that I incorporated sustainability in supports my Public Health 172 class, which is Contemporary Issues of Environmental Health. And this is also an Area R course. Area R are the Earth and Environment courses. And so I worked on this curriculum development with Catherine Doyle. I don't know if she was able to make it on the call, but she's here as she also supported this as well. So you can move forward. Oh, and it's called Eco Solutions Challenge. I didn't even realize it wasn't up. That's okay. Go ahead. So what we did is for our curriculum development is create an Eco Solutions Challenge. So throughout our course in environmental health, the students are exposed and learning about all different environmental health topics. So they're learning about impacts of air pollution it's all related to human health and public health. So, but it's public health's relationship to air pollution, soil pollution, climate change. They're learning about pesticide use in foods, and so a whole breadth of topics. And so this activity, we're starting it on Monday, this coming Monday, during my Earth Day teach-in will be the first installation. And, but so what they're doing is after they learn all of these skills, they're going to put them all together. So it's a culminating experience. So they're applying their knowledge about the interconnection of environmental issues, what they've learned throughout the course about environmental policies and how to apply them, synthesis of their research skills. We're going to be working in teams, so it helps with teamwork, and then also practicing written communication and public speaking. And so the 3 different class sessions, the first one will be an introduction to the actual sustainability topic so that they understand the science, they understand basically the information that they need to inform them to complete the challenge. Then following a couple weeks later, we'll have the actual challenge. This is where we'll actually have it as pitch. We used to have it as a 1 day, like a hackathon, where we give them the idea and they work on it really fast and come up with the solution on that 1 day. We're expanding it out to 2 days so that they can work a little bit more in depth and do a little bit more research on the specific topic. So the second class day will be the introduction to the actual challenge. Their groups are formed and then they start doing their research. And then class 3 it'll move quickly. Then they'll do their pitches. So they say, okay, this is what we think should be the solution to the problem. And then we vote and crown a Eco Solutions Challenge champion. And the next page has the next slide. This is just a short presentation. Thanks, Peggy. Is just in terms of what we're going to do this spring. So we're going to look at food waste as the topic. Last we did a little pilot and we did it just on single-use plastic, but we're going to combine it. We're just going to say, how are you going to reduce food waste in San Jose? And they could focus on just San Jose State. They could focus, but we want to have it. I want them to focus on a specific location so they can help really look at tangible solutions. But so for this challenge, they're going to be looking at how to reduce food waste in terms of the actual food itself, the food scraps, the surplus food, and then also thinking about the packaging part, the single-use plastic. And so it was great. Debbie was just saying how we're trying to phase out our single-use plastics at San Jose State. So the takeout food containers that you get, like what are you going to do with that? And there are some great ideas actually out there that they can look up, and people are piloting it. So they'll have some ideas of what can do, but and so what they're doing, and also it's influenced in terms of, we have legislation in California. We have to have requirements for reducing our organics, getting that out of the waste stream, and then also single-use package legislation. So they'll be incorporating a lot of information, and then their task will basically be, what are the innovative ways that you can reduce food waste in San Jose? And they'll try to pitch it. They have chosen, or they will choose, I will talk to the Better Business Bureau, or I'm going to talk to the administrators at San Jose State, and they'll create a really quick pitch, and with all these different ideas of, okay, we'll incentivize businesses this way, or with our pilot, they had some really creative ideas last year of how to reduce just the single use takeout containers was what we piloted last year. So we're excited to do this again this semester in an expanded form. And that was it for my pitch. So that's what they're going to do for my class.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next in line is Yoon Chung Han. So Yoon, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yoon. I'm assistant professor in design department. Thank you for having me. So yeah, so this is the class called the DSGD 100 for Introduction to Graphic Design. So well, kind of it's interesting, it's a coincidence actually. By the way, this is really actually huge section. This is a capstone in BA Design Studies major, and then there are actually 7 sections in this course, and then there are total 7 instructors who are currently teaching this course, and then each class has 25 students. So we have how many? Like more than 140, 150. I don't know. I cannot calculate. 175, yeah, 175. So it's a huge section, and then there's a senior level. So actually, all design students have a nice skills to create a really cool visuals. And then we actually chose the design for sustainability actually before we applied for this stipend. So what a coincidence! And then I think it's really great to get a support, especially really good kind of motivation, encouragement for our instructors and also students. So it's really, we really actually appreciate this program. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so this class is actually studio design class. So it's really fun. And then students actually generate a lot of actually creative, really visually appealing project. So this semester, the whole theme is a sustainability. And then as a designer, how we can actually really address this, whole issues, many actually different issues in more like a graphical form, and then neat and, more modern design. And because I think, we all know that, sustainability is very important, but oftentimes we cannot really read, or some, it doesn't touch to the many people. So the students are really trying to, well, first of all, they are actually doing some research. So, and each person actually choose the specific topic. So it can be climate justice. And actually one thing is that we actually chose the hypothetical client. So on behalf of the Friends of the Earth International, the organization, nonprofit organization, they actually are doing many actions on sustainability. So we chose that as a hypothetical client. And then their missions are climate justice, economic justice, and the food issue, biodiversity, gender justice, and then school of sustainability. So under their missions, we actually students actually choose some specific topic, and then they actually make a poster design, and then some infographics, brochures, and social media like Instagram posting design, and then finally the animation, the motion graphics to elaborate this kind of important storytelling in time-based media. Yeah, and then next slide, please. Yeah, so is that really actually going on right now? So we are kind of just past the midpoint. So I brought some samples, some of the outcome from some students. So on the left, you can see some content map, which is actually the first assignment in this course. So students actually chose the one specific the topic, and then gather a lot of actually data, statistics, and the information about the topic. For example, the first one, actually the topic is about the declining population of sea turtles due to the climate change. So the student actually collected what are the causes and effects, and then what's really going on, the kind of impact to the sea turtles. And then it's making a more like a nicely aesthetically organized design so that people can understand a better way about this data and statistics. And then on the second column is a social media campaign design. So we actually chose Instagram, and then it's it's very popular social media platform. So students should generate the artwork and image making, like more interesting and visually engaging content to talk about this topic. And then the same artwork actually moved to more expanded form, which is a brochure design. So on the right side, you can see some brochure design. It's actually right now prototype. So it'll be, hypothetically be really cool to send out, people kind of spread a word, to show more like details about it. So next project in line is the motion graphic project, which will be really fun. So students will generate some short 1-minute video to talk about the topic. So yeah, we are super excited. And then there will be total 175 projects about all related sustainability. And then we are actually thinking to have select the best work at the end of the semester and then put together and then make an archive and probably share with the Office of Sustainability, and then also set up in our design gallery in the art building. So once, we have more updates, we're gonna share it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Hoon. That's great. So we're going to jump ahead to Nate. I'm sorry, not Nate. We're going to jump ahead to Ronnie since we don't see Serena here yet. So
actually, Ronnie's was moved. I can do this first, and hopefully maybe Serena will come back.
okay.
So I just wanted to share some sustainability resources for you if you are still kind of in the midst of thinking about what you want to do and how you want to incorporate topics into your curriculum. These are published on the sustainability website. They're just basically little white papers, not really official white papers, but that just go over things that we do for what the campus does for energy and greenhouse gas emissions, for water. There's one on waste. There's one on I think academics, just courses that we're offering for students. But there's about 5 of these on the website that you're more than welcome to use. We also, I guess me now, gets asked multiple times a semester to come and talk to classes for days, so that I'm also available for that. This is a really cool tool. It's a partnership from the UCs and the CSUs. They developed this online tool called Nextera that is completely focused on climate change content for faculty to use. in their course development. The founders of this, or the organizers for this, they're very open to talking to anyone. So if you go on their website, again, this presentation will be sent to you. These links are all active, but if you go on the website, they're always super responsive and very willing to come and talk. And then we have other organizations on campus. The AS Transportation Solutions website actually publishes all their commute surveys. So if you want that type of data, that's open to you as well. Spartan Eats is our dining facilities on campus. They operate all of our dining facilities, and they publish a sustainability report on their operations as well. And I was trying to DM Jennifer here on the chats about, I would love to invite them to come and see your students' presentation on that, because that's actually something that we were trying to pilot in Student Union before the shutdown, was a reusable food container instead of all, honestly, the trash that they generate. And I will hand this off to Peggy and Gina.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to drop into the chat the direct link to the research guide. So what this is, it's basically, hang on a minute, I've lost my screen. It's basically the research guide that I've designed to assist you as you're thinking about including sustainability in your curriculum. And so Jeannie and I worked on this together. There's resources dedicated to what we're doing on campus. The link for the SJSU Nextera that Debbie just talked about, I believe I have that on the Education Sustainability Networks. And on that tab, you should find not just that one, but all of the various networks that have a sustainability curriculum. And so you could use that as a guide to help you. And then Gina's going to go ahead and talk about, this page. The next page shows the various people. So on this SJSU community, some short snippets of some of the curriculum changes that our faculty have used. So Marco, thank you. You're here today. I don't know if Megan is here or Catherine, but they've contributed. And then, if as part of your building sustainability into your curriculum, if you find another, education network you think we could include and share with others, please let me know, because I'm always looking for resources. Next slide, please. Gina?
Okay, yes, so on this one here, some of the things mentioned here are in the LibGuide that is listed down at the bottom, and that's the learning goals, the GE learning goal requirements as well, and learning outcomes from undergrad studies, and all of this information has been put in on the Sustainability LibGuide website. There's also some things for community as resources as well. And those are just some of the things that local communities have done or have that are related to sustainability, and also some regionally within California. So I would check that out if you get a chance, and that the LibGuide for Sustainability has some great resources on it. And then, as you can see here, Peggy has also listed the sustainability ebooks that can be checked out, and some of the databases and so forth that are available. And then on the next slide, if you can go to the next, and on this one only, what I've listed is CFD is a great resource. So I have our email there, and then this is for CFD and eCampus, because eCampus does report into CFD, the Center for Faculty Development. And we have some instructional designers in eCampus that can help faculty with, getting some of the resources onto their Canvas pages, their class pages, and helping, with some of the design elements they might want. Again, they're a really great resource on that. And they have some workshops also, Adobe workshops and so forth that can help as well with including some of the sustainability resources. And then another great resource is Jean Chioda in our lab can help, as Debbie mentioned about the posters that can be done. Jean can actually help you create the posters. She's really good at doing the graphic design and layout on those things. So I would recommend, you could work with her, and to connect with her, the CFT email address that I've included here is probably the most useful. And then some of the other resources as well, if you look on our website, which is sjsu.edu/CFT. And so for some of the risk of things for faculty tenure track or for promotion, some of the work you do with incorporating sustainability in your curriculum could go towards that as well. And then also, I know that I saw in the chat that some of the people would want to get together and maybe collaborate a little bit. And one great resource that not everybody's aware of, it's mostly people that are just in DMH, which is adjacent to IRC, and Hugh Gillis, which use this facility, or who use this facility. But IRC 302, third floor of IRC building, has the faculty and staff lounge. And that's a great place. It's got a lot of natural light in there, and it's a nice room. So again, I encourage people, if they want to get to work with other faculty and collaborate, that's a good meeting place. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention, just on the CFD, Terry Graziani, who is here with us. She's a great resource as well for CFD, and you can connect with her through the CFD web email address as well. And again, she's a really talented video producer, so she can help you with any videos you might want to do. And that's it.
Hey, Bill, you're still muted, sorry.
I was just asking if Ronnie was still with us, but I don't see him on the list. So why don't we just move ahead to Nate?
Hello, excuse me. Hello, everyone. My course that I am proposing to make some changes to is Geology 5. It was once called Human Development in the Natural World, but we recently went through a name change to make it called Sustainability in Human Development in the Natural World. It's an Area E course offered through the Geology Department and cross-listed with Science Education. And this is just a meme from, I had my students make memes about water scarcity. And so this is one of the ones that, that they made. I think it was from 2020. I want to talk a little bit about, well, and I should preface this by saying we do lots of different things. We cover a very wide range of topics, from water to energy to consumption. We have a unit on environmental justice. We cover a lot of ground in this class, and we engage with the material often largely through a lot of discussion posts and some presentations and things like that. Next slide, please. I think something that I proposed for this, and something I would like to focus on, is incorporating more ideas of equity and environmental justice across these. We're a geology department. You know, geology essentially is a field of study based in resource exploitation. And I think making sure that we all understand where everything comes from, down to the finding it, taking it out of the ground, or taking it out of the sky, or whatever it is. And so I have a section in the course that talks about diversity in STEM and in STEAM, and just kind of, we go over demographics and kind of why historically certain people haven't had the opportunity to be a part of either deciding where things are exploited, resources are exploited or taken from, or what happens to their communities. And I have this quote in here: "Talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. We are all losing out because of this." And I just thought I could put it out there. Maybe you can write in the chat if you think anything is problematic about that quote right there. It's something that I've used in my teaching up to this point that I'm thinking about changing. So maybe, I don't know, take 5 or 30 seconds to can think of something that's problematic about that quote. And then I'll tell you what I think is problematic about the quote.
Okay, is that it?
So we have one Peggy said, talent doesn't count, only opportunities. Yeah, I guess for me, I think the first part of the quote is germane, or like talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. That is true. But this idea that we're all losing out because of it, and my idea for changing my focus is kind of like, so what if we're all losing out over it? We should be focusing on the people who are losing out the most over this kind of like disconnect between the people making the decisions and the people who are being affected by these decisions. Next slide, please.
You did have one more comment.
Oh, I did have one. Talented people can create opportunities. Yes, this is true, but I think a lot of talented people, aren't given the opportunity to create opportunities. So next slide. So yeah, currently we do have sections on environmental justice and indigenous knowledge. Like these are like 1 to 1.5 day sections. But I really want to incorporate more of these topics kind of across the whole curriculum. And this is, well, I won't go into it because I don't have a lot more time. So I don't have it all hashed out yet. I'm not teaching it till next fall, and it's been a crazy spring. But that's kind of what I intend to do, is really incorporating the people and the experiences of the people who are, in the places where water is being produced from deep in the ground. For example, study groundwater. That's my area of study. In the places where rare earth metals are being mined for our cell phones and our electronics, things like that, and really focusing on those people and their voices and how that is affected by the rest of our decisions about what we do and the policies we make and things like that. So I'll just leave you with this quote.
Thank you, Nate.
Okay, Peggy, I think you're up.
Okay, did the faculty who had a presentation earlier return?
No.
Okay. All right, everybody. So what we'd like to do right now is invite everybody to participate in an activity together. And so what I would like you to do, and what I hope you see on the screen right in front of you, is if you would look at the top of the screen where it says you're viewing Debbie Andrews' screen, and then if you pull down the menu that says view options, you'll see annotate is an option. So if you click on annotate, that'll take you to the very next screen that you see below. That's the annotation screen. And from there, if you would choose the stamp option, and which stamp you choose is entirely up to you, whether you like checks, X's, question marks, hearts, stars, etc. So what we'd like to do on the very next screen, we're going to look at the sustainability development goals. Can you scroll down to the next one? So these are the sustainable development goals that are currently the United Nations, many countries, many states, many different organizations are promoting as different ways that we could all work on small pieces towards sustainability. So everything, 1, no poverty, 2, 0 hunger, 3, etc. If you could just look at the screen for a few minutes and choose, 3, 4 options that you think you might like to include into your courses. Thank you, Sarika. So So again, we're just wanting to give you an opportunity to consider all the various ways into sustainability. There's no one way, there's multiple ways.
This is just showing me that we need to find somebody to do gender equality curriculum development for our next workshop.
I got you. I got you.
Nice.
I'm on my phone, so I can't be putting my little stamps on.
We'll put you down, Jennifer, for gender equality. Okay. It looks like just visually scanning the screen, good health and well-being was popular, clean water and sanitation. So all of these received some of them. There's a couple that didn't. And of course, quality education, that's a goal that we all strive for here as educators. So, you know, something to think about. So again, this is just a chance for you to start looking at these and thinking, okay, so do I want to embed, you know, one or two in my curriculum for the fall semester? If so, which ones? You could see the URL for the goals down below. And in a minute, when we finish talking about this, I will go ahead and put the URL into the web chat. So you have that. Thank you, everybody, for participating in this.
Sorry, Peggy, we have a couple of minutes. Could we ask a couple of you to explain how you plan to incorporate? Because I'm super curious who chose no poverty, and I'd love to hear that one.
Well, I didn't get to choose any because I don't have a stamp on my phone, but Debbie, is it okay if I speak up and say
Yes,
a little
please.
bit?
Yes.
And also I'm going to couple it with a question. So my question is, in terms of, 10 people vying for 10, little stipends or whatever, is it best to have impact, like I'm in a course that's going to be taken, it's a course that's taken by X number of students and I'm going to teach the other faculty in my program, is that like, should we be strategic about, because I teach 4 courses and it's like, I'm not sure, but so what I was going to talk about right now in terms of answering your question is I teach a marketing course and I already have some things about sustainability in it. Like, for instance, my textbook does not mention, it only mentions life cycle from cradle to grave. It does not have a circular. So I have a whole, my whole slides on that chapter is all updated with circular economy and circular versus linear and why we need to be moving towards, so I'm already doing some of it, but now I got so inspired by today that I thought of, oh, how could I make it like throughout the course, the whole thing? So that's what I'm planning to do, where I'm going to weave in, I have an equity chapter. I have I have like a marketing ethics chapter, and all of those are part of the sustainability goals. Yeah. And so, I'm kind of seeing now from today's example of how I can link all of them as a coherent curriculum and let the students know explicitly, this is what we're doing, and then have them weave it into their own final projects.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And as far as like, if you have suggestions, this is literally our 3rd workshop, and we plan to do these every semester. And I think getting more ideas and feedback on how we can be more effective is really valued. So if you don't mind talking to us, maybe sometime after this workshop at maybe a different time, but and sharing with us your ideas, we'd love to hear them, because sometimes we do struggle with, I think, especially as these keep going, our first one had like 40 people registered. This one had 20. So it's obviously diminishing returns now at this point.
Well, I also liked, first of all, I want to compliment you because the flow of today was great, and having the very concrete examples and everything, and then all these great resources, I felt it was really good. But what it was reminding me of is I just got into this AALDG. Are you guys familiar with that? It's this program out of the provost office, which is with Peter Lee, and it's like a leadership development group. And it really really creates this cohort. And I feel like that's what this could be, is just its own little thing. But rather than one meeting, it could be join our sustainability cohort and be a part of it. So everyone gets motivated, everyone develops. And yes, only 10 might win the prize. Like, we were going to acknowledge some winners who, you know, have the impact, have the far reaching, you know, really weave it in well, but everyone gets to know each other. Everyone gets inspired. So I feel like this could have like maybe 3 or 4 meetings starting in like November. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it could be this idea that you got like a certificate, or you've been in this thing, or you know, so I feel like this could be an AALDG thing.
You know what? So a few things. Number one, Ellen Metzger is on this call, and she was actually the one who kind of spearheaded founding this whole thing. So I definitely want to give her a shout out. And she actually put this whole template together. We've just been updating it. So I want to give her a lot of credit for this. The other thing is, yes, at the end of this, you actually will get added onto a curriculum development listserv. And you'll get like the emails that everyone gets. And we have been trying to create like this more or less informal cohort. It's really based off of emails, but I love that idea. I think when you apply for a stipend, one of the requirements is to attend like a kickoff meeting. And so maybe we should rethink like inviting everyone that's applied throughout, you know, the last few workshops and attend and create like this cohort. Because yeah, I think as the chat shows, you know, these partnerships and collaborations can just pop up just off of, oh my God, I had this idea that I just saw on your slide. And the fact that you just said, yeah, I just, as I'm going through your presentation, I now want to do more. And it's like, I love that.
So it's like I was already doing a little, but it wasn't coherent. You know, I teach 100W. So in fairness, I teach an entire sustainability class, right? So but I've been trying to weave it into other classes where it makes sense and where I think there's clear gaps, you know, and Bill heard me, he presented in our class the other day. It was fantastic. And, you know, I'm all about circular economy, Bill. So you heard me, you know, bring that up. But so, you know, this was very good. So my thing is also that you could do more lead time, like do just one meeting in the fall, like one meeting in January, and then like a late March meeting, and then culminate with Earth, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, whatever. So it feels like, you know, it could become something where people really don't have to do a lot, but they form bonds. And then you have this collaborators that you can reach out to, like, hey, what are you doing with your class? Let me share with mine.
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, if and it sounds like there's a demand for it. So yeah, we can all talk offline and see how we can organize that, but I'd love to do that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're maybe ready for the wrap, Debbie.
Sure. Oh, all the stickers are on here. Hold on, let me save that. Sorry, that's the first time I've done annotation, but let me go ahead and save that and then clear.
By the way, all those stickers that were placed up above was me trying to get rid of the chat on my screen, and I still had that part on my pointer. Sorry.
So this is our last slide. We just this link goes to our stipend application that I hope will pop up. Nope, it will not pop up on stupid Microsoft, sorry. But it'll go to our stipend application that I can probably share this way instead. Yeah, here it is. Really short, simple, straightforward, just describing your course, what you plan to do. And again, I think as Nate pointed out, it definitely does not have to be like what you have already completed. We definitely want you to use the stipend to help you develop a course or, you know, a module in your existing course. There's a few deliverables. Again, not anything extraordinary, I think, but we definitely would love to have you include your sustainability in your learning outcome of your course, provide a copy of your newly created syllabus. And then this is what I mentioned earlier, we have a kickoff meeting, but maybe we should change that to like a quarterly meeting or something. I don't want to make that a requirement. You know what? I'll keep it like that. And then present, like doing what some of you have done today, which is presenting your redesigned class in a following workshop. And I think you can see how kind of motivating that is for the new people, and hoping you will pay it forward. This is new, actually. I asked our previous winners if they could create a poster describing their course to display at our Earth Day resource fair, and they all seemed really excited about that. And so we're printing out posters that just describe the course for hopefully students that can come by and see, oh my gosh, that's a course in my college. I'll totally take that. The posters are actually also going to be displayed in the student union for about a week. And then Talia Agnos is leading a climate fair in October, and we're going to display them there too. So they're going to be everywhere, and I'm hoping this is something that everyone else is excited about, to at least get the word out about your course and also what we're doing on campus. And then this, Peggy, do you want to mention this video? This is not worded right, but
yeah. So. Sorry, I wasn't expecting this. So we are positing the opportunity to create a professional video. Well,
you're muted, Peggy, sorry.
one more time. So working with Terry Graciano, she has offered to help us create professional videos of you and your work that you were including as part of your curriculum change. And so this might be similar. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to see the RISCA in 5 presentations that have been going on in campus. So a short video, a chance for people to participate, share what you are working on. And it's a chance for you to highlight it. You might want to include it as part of, your curriculum, your CV work, share it with your department and your professional networks. And it's also part of our building up the resources and the collections of materials that people are creating on campus.
So I'm in the process of creating a website for faculty and residents for sustainability. And of course, one of the things I'd love to do, because I'm mostly going to be focused on academics, is to have those videos and have them on the website. So that would be another destination for those.
Yeah, just get a hold of me, you all. Email me at email the office, CFD office, or just email me directly, terry.graziani@sjsu.edu. That's what I'm here for, to make your videos look pretty and not pretty. So.
Great.
Any other questions?
So I'm really excited because, like I said, I was just checking, I offered a class in 2009 in green entrepreneurship, and it had a really good response. And then I offered it, then it became a regular class, and I offered it for 2 more years. And then something happened in 2011. I think there was a solar city. No, there was something. Solyndra, anyway, something happened in 2011, and in any case, somehow I didn't teach it again. But just to understand, this could actually be in an existing class. It could be like 3 sessions. That's what I believe Jennifer explained, right? It could be like 1 homework that could be included in a regular class.
It would be a segment, a significant segment in your course. Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't have to be the entire course. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because that's what she explained, right? The 3 sort of like something, a project or something with. Yeah, that's a better way in some ways to go, I think, because there are risks in offering a full class,
Right.
And then I've forgotten, but I'm sure it's there. Like, when is this application deadline? I think it was in your original email, right, Bill?
Yeah, great question. And we were talking about that just before. the session started, and we're thinking end of July, basically because you'll all be hopefully working on your curriculums for the fall.
Yeah.
And so that would kind of fall in line with that. And we can't be getting the stipends out until early in the fall anyway. So we're thinking that might be good timing.
Mhm,
Yeah, right now we have it listed as August 1st.
mhm.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
If there's no more questions, I would like to do a quick little shout out for our Earth Month events.
Okay.
We have quite a bit. This is our website that has all the events listed. We have a video series, the Teach-In. If you haven't signed up for that, if you haven't signed up for your students to go or open up your classroom, I think it's still open, right, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too late.
Yeah. Clothing drive is done. We have this. Bill's doing a climate crisis talk. Do you want to say a little about that?
Yeah, I actually did Heidi mentioned I did this exact talk to her marketing and to a news management class. And I'll be doing that same talk on the 15th, basically talking about the climate crisis. How did it happen? Do we need to make changes? Can we make changes? And probably the most important part of that talk is, will we, and how can we as individuals, and especially this is geared towards college students, what can college students do to take action and get involved? So that's kind of the gist of the talk, and I would love to have any and all of you join.
Yep. The first fair is back in person on Tower Lawn. That will be on April the 20th. Lots of stuff to do, so please send your students out there or yourself. You can totally get free stuff and free food. We have an art gala that we're doing on actual Earth Day, April 22nd. Student Union Ballroom. Meet Space is actually a student-run zine here on campus, and their spring issue is called Consumerism in You. And so it's like, you'll see displays by students and their art that they submitted. I think that'll be really cool. And this is what I mentioned earlier, the San Jose State Campus Master Plan. There's the sustainability workshop on April 26th. Please, if you can, stop by and give your thoughts. If you cannot, you can go onto this link and submit your comments there. But again, we're really trying to see if we can get a more aggressive climate or carbon neutral goal than 2045. If you have students are interested in green careers, we have a green career panel on the 29th. And then Community Garden has a couple of events that look really cool. The Legacy of Poetry has a ton of events for that weekend. And oh, that just passed. But yeah, we have a lot of things going on. I hope you and your students can participate. And I will send you the link to this.
Is there an e-list? Because sometimes Bill has forwarded me things that I'm like, oh, how do I get on that list to get these emails? Is there like a sustainability e-list?
Yes. And so if you go here to, honestly, it's called New Student Info. To change that, but there's ways to sign up for the newsletter and the email list here.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing there, and if anyone else has any questions.
Yeah. Looks like maybe we're done.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be sending out an email to all the registrants with the list or the link to the recording, the presentation, and the link to the stipend and any other important links that we can think of.
And thank you all for hanging in there on this beautiful, sunny, warm afternoon. And